Welcome to episode 2 of Theory for Drummers. Today we're going to be talking about crotchets and crotchet rests. They're also known as quarter notes or quarter note rests. Let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the crotchets or quarter notes. As you can see, there are two different ways that we can draw our crotchets. The first way involves the stem going up, and the second way involves the stem going down. What is the stem? The stem is the vertical line that you see coming off the note head. Now notice that when you have the stem coming up off the note head, you have the stem to the right of the note head. When you have the stem coming down off the note head, you have the stem to the left of the note head. This is important. If you draw the stem the other way, they are not crotchets. That is, well, it's nothing. It's basically incorrect drawing of the crotchet. Okay, now that we know what crotchets look like and how they should be drawn, let's look at a bar of crotchets. So as you'll recall from the previous episode, we know what a bar is by the space in the stave that's in between the bar lines. And we can see that if we have a bar of crotchets, we can fit 4 crotchets into a bar. Now, what does that tell us? What that tells us is that the duration of a crotchet is 1 beat. So previously you learnt that there are 4 beats in a bar. If a crotchet is equal to 1 beat, then that means that you can fit 4 crotchets into a bar. Now previously we talked about beats and bars as just units of time. So a beat can be thought of like a second of time, and a bar is simply, in that case, 4 seconds of time. A crotchet is not a time measurement. It is a note that has a duration, and the duration is the time element. So what is a note? A note can be thought of for drummers as a hit on a drum. So the most common drum that we play on is the snare drum, which is the snare drum that I'm hitting there, or the cartoon version of myself is hitting there. When we're hitting the snare drum and we're playing crotchets, what we're doing is we're hitting the snare drum, then we're waiting the duration of 1 beat before we hit the snare drum again. Then we're waiting the duration of 1 beat before we hit the snare drum again. Then we're waiting the duration of 1 beat before we hit the snare drum again. Then we're waiting the duration of 1 beat to get to the end of the bar. Okay, so if we think of 1 beat as 1 second, then really you're going to hit the drum, wait a second, 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 and you will have played 4 crotchets. Now that you've understood this theoretically, let's see what it sounds like in a played demonstration. Okay, as you can see there, the snare drum is being hit 1 second apart. This is a video showing 1 second equal to 1 beat. If you had a faster song, that wouldn't necessarily be the case, but they would be the same amount of time apart, which is 1 beat, however many seconds that happens to be for that particular song. Okay, so we've talked about a bar of crotchets on the snare drum. Let's talk about crotchet rests. Now, every time you learn about a new type of note, I'm also going to teach you about the corresponding rest of that note. So if you wanted to play, let's say, 4 hits on the snare drum, you could do that by putting 4 crotchets in. But let's say you don't want to play 1 or 2 of those hits. What do? You replace them with this symbol here, which represents a rest or an absence of a note. So instead of playing in that time, you just do nothing during that time. A crotchet rest, just like a crotchet, lasts for 1 beat. Let's see an example and compare it to what we learned before. A bar of crotchets simply looks like this. And if we wanted to replace, let's say, the first and last crotchet with a crotchet rest, it would look like this. Let's see a played demonstration of the crotchet rest, crotchet, crotchet, then a crotchet rest. 1 bar of rests and crotchets. Okay, so as you can see there, that first second there was silence, and there was a hit to start the second second, the hit to start the third second, and then a rest on the fourth second. When we play music, we always want to count, right? So you probably have heard that it's important for drummers to count. It helps with our timing. So we're counting with our voice, and when I teach you these concepts, I want to teach you how to count these concepts as well. So the counting for crotchets is the simplest type of counting that you can do. It's a simple 1, 2, 3, 4 counting. When you get to 4, you go back to 1, because when you get to 4, you're at the end of the bar, and it's time to go back to 1 to start the next bar. So for this example here, the first bar would just be 1, 2, 3, 4. The first beat is a crotchet, second beat is a crotchet rest, third beat is a crotchet, fourth beat is a crotchet rest, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 again. First beat, second, and third beat are all crotchets, and the last beat, beat 4, is a crotchet rest. Now, an additional thing you can do on top of just writing down the counting is putting brackets around the counting in which nothing is being played. Now that just helps when you're reading the sheet music. It's very easy to spot the areas in which you're going to be counting but not playing anything versus the areas where you're going to be counting and playing something alongside your count. Just separates things in that way. Thanks for watching till the end, guys. I really appreciate your time and your attention. If you'd like to watch more Theory for Drummer videos, or you'd like to test out your theory knowledge while supporting the creation of this content, you can do so by heading over to my website, marnirasal.com/theory4drummers. Other than that, please do the usual: like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure you click the bell icon to be notified of future videos. Thank you guys. See you at the next one.